Okay, first thing we're going to do is get your day one of your midterm back. Going to go over whatever questions we have time for on that, and then we're going to do today's stuff, and then we're going to continue on with our lives. You get some extra random coloring pages on the backs of your pages.
Oh, thank you. We get a color?
No, he does.
Oh.
Is he special?
Apparently.
He's special.
He's special.
Oh. What'd you get, Jess? Or do you not push past it?
Thanks.
You're welcome.
What? How? I don't know. I just get it too.
Do I hate you? What'd you say? I don't hate you.
I knew I got these two wrong.
Oh no, I wasn't getting it.
Dang. What did you get?
That was 2 days ago.
What'd you get? 49. You got two lower than me.
We talked about this before, and by we I mean me, and hopefully you listened.
-10?
Grades and marks on tests and things are not condemnation. They are information. They give you information. You can use that information to help you, or you can tell it to go jump in a lake. But one of those is useful to you, and the other one isn't. So you do whatever you want to do. None of you are idiots. None of you. Some of you have a lazy streak. I don't like to throw that word around because it's usually a lie. It can be in here too. Sometimes people aren't lazy, they just don't know what to do, which is quite possibly some of you. Some of you decide that other things are more important than school. Right now in your life, at this phase of your life, there are very few things that are more important than school. There are things that are more important than school, don't get me wrong. Your family being one of them. Your health being another. Your friends, it really depends. Yeah, definitely. Thanks. But I'm going to tell you right now, school and what you're doing in school is useful to you today. There are plenty of things that are not. Cheetos have nutritional value. They do. They do. They have things that your body can use to grow and to learn and whatever else. They also have a heck ton of salt, which is bad for your heart. They also have bunches and bunches of simple carbs. Carbs are not the devil. Good. Quit listening to the idiots. They're wrong. Carbs are not bad. Your brain literally runs on carbs. Literally. You need carbs. Carbs are good. Yes, you can put your body in ketosis, but if you don't want to live on keto the rest of your life, is it really the plan for you? Probably not. That's a whole other debate. Let me get back to the point. Cheetos have nutritional value. So they are good for you. But if you only eat Cheetos, that's not going to be great for you. Art is fun. I would argue art is important, but that's also another discussion for another day. School, growing your brain, helping your brain grow into a mature adult that can think, that can reason, that can understand, that can communicate, is the most useful thing for you to be doing right now in your life, just about. Make school a priority. including your math. Please, for your own sake. And what that means is, if your grades suck, something is wrong. We talked about this the other day. That doesn't mean something's wrong with you. Probably isn't. Probably isn't. But something is wrong with your process somewhere. Luckily for you, processes can change. So, if you want to get better grades, aka retain more of the information, be able to think through problems better, which are the skills we're learning, by the way. Retaining information, learning how to reason through problems, learning the logic through stuff, being able to hold an algorithm in your head. Those are all very useful skills for the rest of your flipping life. You don't have to be disappointed. Grades are information, not condemnation. Am I clear? Good. I hope I am, because all this matters more than polynomials ever will. Well, that's sort of true. That you've done some stuff with polynomials. You just didn't know you were doing with it. Okay. So, what questions do we have from the midterm?
We need 13.
Sure.
So I did mine online.
You did yours on paper,
That's what I meant. Sorry.
and then your mom sent me pictures, and I put those pictures in a PDF reader, and I graded it on my tablet,
Gotcha. And then
and I printed it out and sent it to you.
okay.
And it's on coloring pages because that was the paper that was available.
So
Yes, you can correct the midterm just like you'd correct any other test.
can we do number 6?
We're doing 13 first because that was what was asked for first. 13 is probably a great place to start because a bunch of you missed it. By the way, one thing that is very plausible that went wrong with your process is, the day or days, I don't remember, I think we did day in this class, where we reviewed and I said, this is what's going to be on the test. You didn't go back and look at that and then, study all those things. That's definitely one of the things that could have gone wrong in the process. If I say study, we're going to talk about absolute value equations. What do you think is probably going to show up on the test? Absolute value equations. I mean, whatevs, bro. Okay. So, see if anybody remembers. What do we do with an absolute value equation? Split it into 2.
So that's what it is.
Oh yeah, I kind of remember now. Okay.
It's coming back.
What is one of them going to look like? X plus 4 equals 6. What is the other one going to look like? Negative. X plus 4 equals 6. It's in parentheses. That parentheses. So there were all kinds of different issues on this problem. One, some people forgot that you split it in 2 and they just kind of pretended like the absolute value didn't exist and, YOLO'd and hope for the best. Another problem I saw is somehow people look at the absolute value and thought, I know it does something, and somehow magicked it into multiplication or something weird. That was a thing that happened. Which, I guess if you don't remember what it is, I can't blame you. Like, I know it does something, maybe it's this. Glad you did something. Okay. Another issue that happens often is maybe like, okay, I know I split it into 2, but then either you don't distribute the negative, so it applies to both, or I even saw 1 or 2 people where they knew what to do, but they didn't think about the fact that the one disappeared the other. So if you divide by -1, then the negative is gone on this side because it's divided off, so you wouldn't also distribute it. If you distribute it, you wouldn't also divide it. You would do one method or the other, not both, because either of those methods gets rid of the negative. So he can't magic himself into 2 things.
So that divide by -1 is strictly to get rid of the negative.
It is, right? Because there's an implied 1 here, right?
Yep.
So he's multiplied, so we can divide by -1 to get rid of him. And then it goes away. Mm-hmm. This one is easy. What do we do next on this one?
-4.
-4. This one's easy peasy. X equals 2. And then we've got x plus 4 equals negative 6. And then you would walk on the rest of the way, right? And subtract 4 and keep on going. What other questions from the test? 14. What's your question about it? It's the same kind of problem, right?
How to do it. Oh wait, it is. Never mind.
Mhm.
16.
16 is kind of tricky.
With 13, x equals 2 on both of them?
No,
No. Wait.
Negative 4 on
because negative 6 plus negative 4 is not 2.
Plus negative 4. Oh. Oh, I did that.
I will also throw out there from my earlier comments, if one of the reasons you're struggling to do your school is because you have a job, I encourage you to ask yourself this question. Do I plan to or want to have this job the rest of my life? If the answer is no, then one of them is more important to you, and it's not the job. I'm not saying you should get rid of the job. I'm just saying prioritize, yeah? What should we do now? Yes, you're right. So it's a proportion. This is an equals in the middle. We do cross multiply. Now, there's a tricky bit on this problem. Where's the tricky bit? That r minus 9. What's going to happen when we do the cross multiply over here? You've got to distribute it. In fact, I would write it down as a separate step. So 30 times r minus 9 equals, and then 17 times 23 we can probably do. What's 17 times 23? 391, he says. Now what? Distribute, sounds good. You could divide instead if you wanted to, but distribute is totally fine. What's 30 times r?
30R.
Wow. What's 30 times negative 9?
270.
No.
280. We know. Oh my gosh.
No.
270.
No. Negative 270. Now what?
Minus 270.
Lies. Look again.
Plus. That's what I meant.
Add 270, divide by 30, and you're out. What other questions do we have from this test? All right, let's look at today's stuff. Here we go. Today, you get to learn some things. Oof. All right. We're talking about two topics today. 5-5 being the first one.
Mr. Sean, do you have some paper?
Did I?
Yeah, I used it. I'm gonna
You have some good context clues for the answer to your question. Just saying.
get paper.
I gave you paper. There were coloring pages because I didn't have any other paper. So.
Forgot about that. Maybe in a sec.
So on the assignment in the Google Classroom for 5-5 or today or whatever it is, I think it's today, it's on today. The notes you take in class today are the ones that you're going to take a picture of and submit. Whoa, cool beans.
Oh, dang.
All right. Solve and graph are the instructions. We're going to do guided practice 1A together, and then I'm going to let you do guided practice 1B. Okay.
What page?
We're on page 312, or I am. You don't have to be, because I'm going to write the problems on the board, but. So the instructions say solve the inequality and then graph the solution set. So we have an inequality with absolute value. We just practiced doing absolute value. However, we're going to tweak what we do ever so slightly. Actually, I say that. Do I want to teach it that way or the other way? Yeah, I'm going to teach it that way because it'll help you in Algebra 2 later. So we're going to tweak our process ever so slightly. We're still going to split it into two, but temporarily, we're going to pretend like this is an equals. Okay? So the first one would be the positive version. So it's just the thing without the absolute value. N minus 8 equals 2. Right? And then the negative version is this with a negative in front. Right? Just like that other one. I turn the inequalities into equals for now. We're going to deal with the inequality in a minute. So on the left one, what would we do to solve it? We would add 8. Easy. Did you say plus B?
Yeah.
That's funny. we have talked a lot about linear functions lately, so that makes sense. I don't know what I'm writing.
I think we're all tired.
Speak for yourself. What are we going to do over here? Distribute sounds fine. Did you say 6? Why did you say 6? Nobody knows. What's negative times n? Negative n.
Why is there no 1?
What's negative times negative 8? Now what? Subtract 8. Sounds like a good idea. The people that say minus 8 crack me up, but you want to know who cracks me up more than the people that say minus 8? The people that get mad because people say minus 8. Those people are real funny. Anyway, what should we do now? Sounds great. I'm going to divide by negative 1. Now's what we do. Now, if somebody ever watches this on the internet, you can be like, they might be like, oh, there's an easier way. Yeah, there is. But we start chucking quadratics in here and whatever. Doing it with this test step at the end is going to be consistent and it's going to always work. So we got to graph the solution. First question about that. Are we going to use filled in circles or open circles? Filled in. How do you know? Because it has an equal to line under it, right? So we have 2 key points. One at 6 and one at 10 with theoretically filled in circles. So, we need to test to see where we're going to shade. We have 3 places we can test. And what we need to do to test is we need to pick a number, any number that's in this region. If it works for any number in this region, it works for all of them in this. So the first one is something less than 6. What's a nice, easy number to use less than 6? How about 0? 0 is great. We like 0.
Oh, that's nice.
So we put a 0 in here. 0 in for n is 0, right? So negative 8. Absolute value less than or equal to 2. What's the absolute value of negative 8? 8. Is 8 less than or equal to 2? It's a yes or no question. Is 8 less than or equal to 2? No.
Wait, sorry. Put the 0 in. Never mind. Go on. Sorry.
Okay. What's the number in this chunk that we could test? 7's fine. 8's easiest. Why is 8 the easiest? 8 minus 8 is 0. I have said this before. I will say it again. You're in Algebra 1. Did y'all know that?
No.
You are. You're in Algebra 1. Which means some of this stuff you're learning for the first or like second time ever. Right? And so you're not always going to see the easiest. All you have to see is a path. Jumping over this fence over here is a way to get over there. But walking through the gate is easier. But you might not notice it because this is your first time in this region, right? Make sense? So if we pick 8, 8 minus 8 is 0. What's the absolute value of 0? 0. Is 0 less than or equal to 0? Yes.
It's equal to.
Yes, because it is. These are yes or no. This is a yes or no question at the end.
0, not 2.
What do you mean, why is it 0 but not 2?
Like on the other side. Because the inequality. Why is it on 2?
Because I wrote 0 instead of 2. Is 0 less than or equal to 2? Yes. So it works here. We got to test one more thing. What's a number over here? 20 sounds great. I love it. What's 20 minus 8?
12.
12. What's the absolute value of 12?
12.
12. Is 12 less than or equal to 2? No. It doesn't work over here. So where are we going to shade?
In the middle.
In between them. Easy peasy. No problema. All right, I would like y'all to do guided practice 1B. I'm going to start doing it with you here in a second after I give you a head start. What? Page 312. While y'all start, I'm going to give you as much time as it takes me to go fill up my water glass and put this other thing in the sink. And then your time will be up.
Practice what number? Guidance 1X.
together on this one or by ourselves?
By yourself. I'm going to start doing it in a minute so you can kind of be checking, but I want you to stop and engage. By the way, this is another thing that could work better for you in your process when you're taking the notes. If you think you know what past me is going to do on the video, you pause the video and try it yourself first and see whether you know what you're doing or not. That's a great thing to do. That'd be a good way to catch when past me makes a mistake, because he does that sometimes, especially in Algebra 2.
Wait, it's equal. Oh.
Oh, what? I was doing the wrong thing.
Same.
It's down there, not
1B. Okay, we heard just B.
Guided practice 1B. You heard something. That's better than nothing.
I know, right?
You were at least attempting to listen. Did you get an answer? Is it weird? If it's not weird, you might have done something wrong.
He didn't put it on a number line, so I should probably do that.
Was there a part you think you're confused about?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what part?
After you add the 5 to it, I got 2C, alligator thing. Negative 2. So I added.
On this one?
Yes, sir.
Negative 3 plus 5 isn't negative 2.
Wait, it's. Wait, I'm so smart. Wait, what?
Negative 3 plus 5 is not negative 2.
Don't you distribute on that one first?
Not if you divide by negative 1. But you can distribute it.
You divide the whole.
Oh, which just takes away the negative. So
Yeah.
then you're
Either one will work.
Okay. Oh, so
Oh, I see.
then it's the same problem, just without the negative. No. That's not it either.
Look at him with his straight edge. Good job, bro.
For my tabletop games, I just moved to my backpack.
Which tabletop games do you play?
Battletech.
Nice. Why'd you pick Battletech?
Because I wanted to play D&D, but mom didn't like the magic element, so mom
Ah.
helped me find a game that I liked that didn't have magic.
Nice. I love it. I don't know, sir.
My brain is so smart. There we go. No. That's better.
Did you get an arithmetic part wrong or a concept part wrong? She didn't even know I'm talking to her.
Yes?
I said, did you get an arithmetic part wrong or a concept part wrong? Did you do it wrong or did you just get a wrong number?
No, I got it right.
Oh, okay. Well, then I don't know what you were saying earlier.
She said we're chilling. That means that she got it right.
I didn't hear her say we're chilling. I heard her say we're trying.
It's because Adam was making fun of me for being
I
slow.
didn't even do anything.
That's all. I was like, I'm slow, I'm trying. Everything's right. I just realized that when you pair them up. Wait, why isn't the second one right? Not right.
Is 5 less than negative 3? Or is 1 less than negative 3?
I was getting close to less than 2.
So I have a question for you. Is there ever going to be any time where the absolute value of anything is less than a negative number?
No.
No, 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 no. No. So we could have like saved ourselves some time and trouble on this problem.
Can you just write like?
You could just write no solution from the beginning.
Okay.
Now, when we had absolute value equations, before, then anytime you had an absolute value equals a negative, then you could just start by saying no solution. We can't do that with an inequality. Darn. Dag nabbit. Dag nabbit, indeed. Let's do another one. We'll do this one together.
Jason's gonna be like, oh, that's gonna be hard. What? What? Sorry, I can't hear anything.
So if this was an equals and not an inequality, we could just chuck it in the bin and say no solution. Because an absolute value is never going to be equal to a negative. But But this doesn't say equal to. I mean, it does, but it also says greater than. So we can't do that. Now, here I have a question for you, right? We're going to do this together. If you've already started doing it and thinking through it, that's great. Love it. But just make sure you listen to what I'm saying while you're doing it. Okay? Is there a possibility that an absolute value of something could be greater than -5? Yes. Yes, there is. Is absolutely true or absolutely possible, right? So we do the positive one and the negative one. What do we do over here?
Plus 6.
Add 6. I agree. What about over here?
Negative. Oh, divide 11.
Divide by -1. Sounds great. Do it. Now what?
Add plus 6.
Did y'all know that math keeps getting harder and longer in high school? So when I suggest you write your problems like this and keep it lined up like this and do this and not skip these steps, you think maybe there's a reason for that? Just saying. Make sure your work looks like my work.
Including.
Okay, what do we do now?
Graph. Oh,
Got to do some checks. Sounds great. What now? Choose a number. What number are we going to choose?
0.
0. Sounds good. It's over here. What's 0 minus 6?
Question.
Why?
So, since it can't be equal to.
Stop, 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 stop. Shh, 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 shh. What's the absolute value of -6? 6. Is this true or false? True. It works over here.
Do we have to check all of them, or just until we find check list?
You have to check all of them. What are we going to check now?
3.
3 sounds great. What's 3 minus 6? -3. What's the absolute value of -3? What is the last thing we're going to check?
If it's true or false.
Yeah, is it true or false? Great. True. Last number we're going to check.
12.
12 sounds fine. What's 12 minus 6? 6. What's the absolute value of 6? 6. It worked everywhere. What's that answer called?
Infinite solution.
All real numbers. Now, I have a question for you. Is there ever a situation where an absolute value won't be greater than a negative number? When? No, the absolute value by itself. Yeah, like you could make an expression over here with an absolute value in it, yes. But is there ever a time where the absolute value is not going to be greater than a negative number? 0 is greater than a negative. It's a good thought, but 0 is greater than a negative. So no, there is not ever a time. So if you have absolute value greater than a negative, what's the answer going to be? All real numbers. How many times? Every time. Every time. Infinite. Infinite times. All right, I want you guys to do guided practice 3A. Ready, go. Are you at home? Okay.
3A.
I did say 3A.
Oh. I see it now. Big brain. Big brain.
Guided practice 3A. Should be the very bottom of the page. It shouldn't have an example on it. Why would I have you work out an example? That doesn't make any sense. Now, if you want to do that on your own, look at the example and then try it, and then you have basically even more notes. That's great. Go for it. My table's making noises that it ought to be making.
Sorry, I didn't even realize I was doing it.
I wasn't yelling. I was just requesting. We talked about this before when we were looking at inequalities, but if you have trouble distinguishing your sevens from inequality symbols, you might want to, at least for this lesson, use Roman sevens and put a little cross on it.
I didn't think that it looked like that.
My T's are pretty aligned.
Yeah, which is even scarier because it might confuse you and you didn't even realize it confused you.
Is it both A and B?
No, they're not both the same. You may have made a negative mistake somewhere. Is probably what happened. Hello. Excuse me.
Oh.
Using different colors probably helps, but he's not even doing that. So
Pen, so I said, eeny, meeny, miny, moe, and chose the pink.
Oh wait.
I'll have another kind of pencil. Actually, I do. I have electric.
Angela's pot everything.
Oh, I skipped a step. That's why I got rid of the numbers.
So how we doing? We got questions? We making sense? Things working out pretty good?
Yes, Lord.
So are they going to be open circles or closed circles?
Open.
Open circles. And where are we going to shade?
To the right.
And to the left.
And to the right.
I have a question. On all real numbers, do you shade the entire thing in or just?
You do. Yeah. On no solution, you shade nothing. And on all real numbers, you just shade everything.
I was in that question.
Your homework
Okay.
will be enumerated now.
Please. Absolutely not. Oh, okay. I have another question. When on the number line, does it matter which side the negative is on?
Yes. Numbers go down, going to the left, up to the right. We will, Tuesday will be much the same as today because we have one more lesson to cover. There's not a video over it. We will cover it in class on Tuesday, which means the test gets pushed back a day, which is fine by you.
Which video is it? 5, 6?
There isn't a video,
Oh, yeah,
so.
sorry. You said that.